Do you feel that the introduction of high-speed broadband in these areas is being done for these very reasons?
I think that's why it's had so much sort of support, especially from Labour Party, willing to put a tax on your landline to pay for it.
Money, obviously, an underlying factor to it all.
Well, you've got all these sort of 10-bob fat cap property speculators floating around. You know, they'll sort of go into an house and, I mean, like, sort of, they probably buy somewhere like here. You know, somebody will buy it, let's say they pay 250 grand for it in the start, you know, and they'll try and sell it for 350 if they could, sort of, you could buy it next door with it, which would be sold with it anyway, and you could extend it into a big 5-bedroom house with like a pool room or something underneath it, and a fancy sort of back door where barn doors are. And you know, sort of stuff like that. There's no sort of, nobody wants to build like sort of 2-bedroom sort of semis or all like that anymore, or even 3-bedroom semis, you know, like that. Nobody wants to know about that. It's all like sort of 4-bedroom at least, you know, like sort of talking 500k plus housing. That's all they're interested in around here at the moment.
So would you say this is one of the underlying factors which has played a part in artificially inflating the housing market?
I think the main problem is like sort of being able to get these 100% mortgages and stuff like that. People have got, I mean, I know, I've seen mates down pub, you know, and they've like sort of been in their house for sort of 20 years or whatever, and they've paid the mortgage off. They only paid like, what were them, paid 17 grand for it.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of, and now it's worth sort of 140, but I mean, it doesn't sort of act like it's 140, you know, but I mean, some people will get a credit card out, and every time they'll put their house on market just to get it sort of revalued, and that, what they squeal about that, or, you know, them home reports they have to do that they scrap now.
Mm.
If they had to get one of them, it cost them 500 quid, so I mean, they're only ever putting it on market just as a kite to sort of get it valued up so they could borrow more on their credit card. And there's loads of people like that. There's people got shares, and when shares go up, they sort of, they put it into a bigger house, and then like sort of, it's like climbing up sort of a chimney with like a foot on each side. And if one side falls out, let's say the stock market goes like sort of wallop, I mean, that's likely. But I mean, house prices are just ridiculous at the moment. You know, I mean, they should be half what they are now. Well, it's got to happen. It's essential that it has to bust, and it has to get back down to a reasonable level so that an ordinary bloke can afford to buy an house again. Actually, sort of government policy on housing benefit will do a lot towards sort of helping that, which is like sort of one sort of positive thing in a thing, you know, like sort of bunch of negatives. But one good thing they've done now is sort of say, right, that's it, we're not paying like sort of housing benefit, you know, like sort of like we were. Because I mean, people are buying houses in London, weren't they, and sort of renting them off for 20 grand a year and stuff like that. I mean,
what do you think will happen when, we say it's inevitable, it is highly likely that the average house price will come back down to realistic levels? What do you think will be the consequence of that?
There'll be a lot of broke building societies for a start.
So do you think there'll be another round of bailouts then?
Well, they've put it up to 85k now, so that sort of gets sort of 95% of everybody that has money in there. I mean, anybody with any sense has moved the money out anyway by now from end of, you know, I mean, like, it's just sort of lasted long enough as this sort of stock market bubble for people to sort of get it into a safe place before it actually does go. But I mean, Portugal's debt rolls over in April. That's going to be a big test.
So when the housing bubble does completely burst, who do you think will be the big winners and the big losers?
I don't think there actually will be any winners. I know it sounds sort of harsh, but what'll happen is that it'll benefit everybody because the kids will not afford to sort of live again. Rents will come down. It'll sort of deflate the economy completely. You know, sort of get RPIX going into negatives. So all this crap about linking pensions to earnings will all like sort of fall like sort of by the, you know, earnings are going to go negative. So they'll link pensions to earnings, you know, like sort of, and they all think, oh yeah, twat, you know, like sort of turkeys bought in for Christmas.
So if you believe that a housing bubble implosion will benefit large sections of the society who are currently priced out of the market, why do you think there's so much resistance to it happening?
It's a religion. It's preached every morning on BBC about what sort of how house prices are going up, and you know what sort of to buy and not to buy, and sort of then worse one a lot is what sort of escape to the country. You know, I mean that's done more damage to sort of rural communities than anything. You know, it's like sort of totally. You know, like they'll get some sort of workers' house built in the middle of sort of country, and like sort of somebody will do it up and they'll sell it for 400 grand. You know, when it were like sort of, if they'd have left it like it was, somebody could have gone and rented it out for 50 quid a week or something like that. You know, and kept it. But I mean, landlords are angling to cash in. That's what it's all about. It's all about their lordships. You know, like sort of, or you get these people borrowing against shares and borrowing against that, and like sort of stacking it up, sort of borrowings everywhere.
So it's the same money reprinted over and over again.
Oh yeah. And that's what it's all built on. It's all built on borrowed borrowings. And if like sort of one of them says, "Look, I've got to go," you know, that's it. The whole thing sort of
like a house of cards.
Falls apart. Yeah.
What is your opinion of the UK's current ability to be self-sufficient in things such as energy and food production? And what do you envisage the future for indigenous UK production is? And do you feel Monsanto will play a role?
I think it's very important to keep sort of GM out. I mean, they've got a lot of really good plant breeders here that's done what sort of miracles with what we have anyway. But we're falling behind now. We used to be self-sufficient in milling wheat in the 1970s when EU subsidies were at like sort of top whack. And now with sort of following eco-fascists again, biofuels, you know, I mean, half that land that used to grow wheat's now growing oilseed rape. And like, fair enough, you can sort of get oil out of it and you can cook with it and you can give like sort of dressings to pigs and poultry and they'll do well on it. You know, the actual sort of biofuel bit itself is what, I mean, it's no good. We can sort of get that from somewhere else. We've got plenty of coal. We've got sort of, I mean, everybody forgets about peat, but I mean, you can distill like sort of oil suitable for use in a compression ignition engine, which is like sort of technical term for a diesel. You could get oil suitable for use in a compression ignition diesel engine and sort of run transport on peat. And I mean, it's been done commercially in past somewhere up Scotland Island. It's on a BBC course thing somewhere. This bloke actually built a plant to sort of distill oil to sell for lamps, and it would have made money, but for his bent bloke he had running it, sort of giving it away. We're not short of natural resources. You've got these corporates like sort of demanding a carbon price before they'll build the plant now. That's what it's got to now. They want, you know, like a carbon price, or we'll not build this power station for you. They've got us over a sort of barrel. I mean, what sort of most of the corporates have got government over a barrel, and government always has to give in because they don't. Sort of nobody dare stand up and say, well, sort of no stop, you know, no further.
Would you say there is a stigma attached to burning waste for fuel?
Undoubtedly, it's been sort of programmed into everybody that it's highly toxic and with dioxins and this, that and something else. And I know for a fact, because going back a good 15 years now, there was quite a bit of controversy about sort of burning the SEM fuel, which is like sort of waste solvents from print industry. It's sort of highly toxic and like sort of not like sort of generator of dioxins. They said, well, it's sort of hot enough to sort of get rid of them anyway, but they come to the conclusion, just to be doubly sure, they put one of the latest flue gas scrubbers on to sort of exhaust from the chimney. It's transformed sort of life round here. I mean, you used to go outside and it was like somebody had been sort of overcharging a battery, you know, like sort of sulfuric acid smell. You never get that now.
So if done in the correct way, it can have a positive.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly, old-fashioned waste incinerators were really bad. I think they had one at Slitherer. It just burnt stuff. They didn't generate electric off it. It just set fire to it, which is pointless. I mean, you've got to generate electric off it, and you know, ideally, you'd put it in a rural area so you could build greenhouses around it and grow stuff that's currently flown in. It's just like in there, you know, and I mean, even with Isle of Man, eco-fascists are leaping up and down about ash, and they're having to send it to Norway. I can't remember Norway ever being like sort of a soft touch for anything toxic or whatever, you know. I mean, they wouldn't want to contaminate Norway, would they? But I mean, they'll willingly take this ash that eco-fascists is just, you know, like sort of really bad. I mean, oh, you can't touch that, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I mean, yeah, it's just getting back the heat from the original fraction of oil that plastic was sort of made from. So you're getting two benefits out of it. It's like coal-fired power stations. You could grow chlorella algae, it's a Chinese pond slime, and sort of remove 30% of CO2 and grow this pond slime, which you could then put into your power station and burn as fuel anyway. And nobody's doing it, you know. But I mean, it's not surprising because Shell bought all rights out to energy from chlorella side and just closed it down. So you get all these health pill things and adverts for it. I mean, I'm pretty sceptical about that, but yeah, there's a lot of things we should be doing that we're not doing.
Do you envision problems in the coming years with regard to the UK's ability to produce energy for its domestic demand?
Yeah, we're gonna end up with power cuts in the next 10 years. There's no way that we can do anything about it unless we start building new coal-fired power stations.
And are these in the pipeline?
Oh no, they've all been stopped.
So it's a pretty dire scenario then?
Yeah, I think there's an EU directive that's going to close quite a significant number of coal-fired power plants anyway. And
they're not going to be replaced?
No.
So what do you think will happen?
Well,
as a consequence?
It will be alleged that they've been replaced by wind, but that's only 25% efficient. So net result power cuts. I mean, who's going to want to sort of bring a company to Britain if you can't rely on your electric to sort of produce, you know, I mean, ideally, I mean, if you've got a factory, you want it working sort of 3 shifts, 24 hours 7, you know, to sort of get best use out of it, but, you know, arranging sort of jobs and stuff, like sort of sympathetically, of course, you know, not slave labour.
Don't forget to join us in part 7, where we'll be talking about health and safety and its impacts.